Hello and welcome back to my Premier League predictions. This is game week 13. Last week I got 7 points, taking me to a total of 63 points. This week we're going to kick off with Brentford versus Burnley. Brentford last week went against Brighton, where they did lose, but they could have gotten a draw, but Thiago's penalty was saved, and that is another loss away from home for them. But I do think it was merited, right? They didn't provide much. Overall, it wasn't the best game for Brentford. As for Burnley, they had an alright performance against Chelsea, but again, they didn't score and they ended up losing against Chelsea. They never really created a clear chance for themselves. At the first half, they had a couple blocks, but it wasn't ever a clear chance. I do think they are suffering from a lack of creativity as well. For this matchup, Brentford versus Burnley at the G-Tech Stadium, they have faced twice recently, and Brentford have beat them twice and kept a clean sheet. And considering Brentford are pretty good at home, they have won 4 of their 6 home games in the Prem, whereas Burnley have basically lost all of their away games. I'm going to say Brentford win here pretty comfortably and go ahead and say it's going to be a 3-0 win to Brentford. Next up, we have Sunderland versus Bournemouth. Sunderland, they went against Fulham, and I don't know what happened. They struggled to get out their own half, had basically 0 to no chances. We're doing decent defensively, but then let one in, ended up losing 1-0. I think their wingers should have been Adingra and Talby for the game. A bit more pace with them. They would have gave them an option to get out from the back, right? Instead of Enzo Lafitte or Traore. Overall, not a good game from Sunderland. As for Bournemouth, they went against West Ham, where they did ended up drawing, but I do think they were the better team. I think they should have won, but Areola was too good for them that day. And Bournemouth are starting to drop points, even though they aren't playing that bad. Now, currently, Sunderland at home are pretty good. They haven't lost a game out of their 6. They won 3, drawn 3. As for Bournemouth, away from home, they've only won 1 time, and they have a -7 goal difference. So they really struggle away from home. But here, in this game, it's tough to call. Sunderland like to keep low-scoring games, whereas Bournemouth like to keep high-scoring games. I think they split the points here. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Next up, we have my team, Manchester City versus Leeds. City, we were shambolic. We were shambolic against Newcastle. We can only lose 2 more times if we want to win the league. 2 more times and that's it. And then we also played in the Champions League, where we also lost to Leverkusen 2-0. They outplayed us. They played us perfectly, sitting back, hit us on the counter. Yeah, terrible week for us. For Leeds, they had a good performance against Villa. I do think they were unlucky not to get a point. I think they were going at Villa a couple times. They had some chances. But then Perry, their goalie, didn't even dive for Aston Villa's second goal. If he would have dove, he would have blocked it. I mean, the ball was right next to him. When these two teams face at Etihad Stadium, Leeds has actually beaten them once out of the last 3 times, and City won the other 2 times. But at home, City this season have won 5 of their 6 home games, whereas Leeds has lost 5 of their 6 away games. So it should be a City win here, but I do think we concede again. I think we have been falling off a bit in the last week, so I do think we concede, but we ultimately end up winning 3-1. Next up, we have Everton versus Newcastle. Everton, they went against United last week, where I do think they were the better team until that goal, and then they decided to sit back because they had a red card. Speaking of that red card, Idris Gay, that was a stupid red card. He is a senior player. He should know better than to act like that. I mean, it wasn't the end of the world. It's not like they conceded from that chance. Don't know why he's getting that mad. Pickford, man of the match. He had some decent saves. I don't think he was spectacular, but he had some decent saves to get them the win. And they have decent away form. That's something we need to know about for Everton. Decent away form, but this is a home game, and they're facing Newcastle, who beat Manchester City. I underestimated them at home. I should have known better, right? Barnes with a brace. He's been in hot form. Their midfield, were hunting our midfield. They would not let us breathe. Their fullbacks are back as well, Livramento and Lewis Hall. But then in the Champions League, they lose to Marseille. Now, this is a game of a team at home that aren't so great, and then a team that is away from home that aren't so great either. In the last 5 times they have faced at Everton's home, which was the Goodison Park before this, there has been 4 games that had a clean sheet in it. This time around, I don't think there's going to be a clean sheet. I think both teams are going to score here. But I still think it's going to be close. I'm going to say a 2-1 win to Everton. Next up, we have Spurs versus Fulham. Spurs, they went against Arsenal. And my God, that was shambolic. They couldn't do anything. They were sitting back, but could not go forward. Kudus locked up. But I did say they were going to score. And they did end up scoring. Very Spursy. Richarlison with the banger, actually. And also, Spurs went in the Champions League facing PSG. Did lose, but they did manage to get 3 goals on them, where Richarlison scored again. So he's in hot form. As for Fulham, they had incredible home form. They beat Sunderland 1-0. Chukwueze, when he came off the bench, he needs more minutes. He looks solid. He needs more minutes. And he will be in that deep role. He's been there a couple times this season, and he's doing a pretty good job. When these two teams face at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Spurs pick up points. They have won 3 and drawn twice. But this time around, this season, Spurs at home are pretty awful. They are 19th in the league in terms of home form. But Fulham, away from home, are 19th in the league because they're also awful. But I think that's going to even out things. Here, and they're going to split the points. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Next up, we have Crystal Palace versus Manchester United. Crystal, they had a good game against Wolves, 1-2-0, which I predicted. Pino with a banger. He's been incredible since he's came to the league. And they move up to 5th place. They are in great form right now. As for United, they won against Everton and ended up losing 1-0, even though Everton had 10 men. They had 25 shots. Only 6 of them were on target. That is very disappointing. They needed to be more efficient, and they clearly weren't. When these two teams face at Selhurst Park, Crystal usually do pick up points here. They've won twice and drawn the other 3 in the most recent 5 games. And then when Crystal this season play at home, they haven't lost a game, but they have drawn 4 of them. That's not great. 4 out of 6 draws, that's not great. So I do think United can get something here. United have been scoring, but they've been conceding a lot as well. Also, Crystal Palace at home do keep low scoring games. I think they're going to split points here as well. I'm going to go for another 1-1 draw. Next up, we have West Ham versus Liverpool. West Ham, they picked up a great point against Bournemouth. Wilson with the brace came in clutch for them because I think other than that, they didn't really produce anything. And that is now their 3rd game in a row with 4+ goals in them. So they are having some high scoring games. As for Liverpool, Gakpo and Salah first half looked decent. After that, they capitulated, losing 3-0 to Forest. At home, I thought it was going to be 3-1 the other way around. They can't lose anymore. They reached their limit of 6 losses. So I think they're out. I think they're going to lose another one. And that's not it. In the Champions League, they also faced PSV and they got smoked. Losing 4-1 at home to PSV. I think Slot is on his last life. I don't think there's much more room for mess ups here for him. They are an all-time low right now. This fixture sees West Ham with awful home form and Liverpool with awful away form. I think the fact that Liverpool have dropped off so much, West Ham can get something here. I'm going to go for another draw here, a high-scoring one, and I'm going to say it's going to end up at 2-2. Next up, we have Villa versus Wolves. Villa, first half, pretty shaky. Leeds were the better team, but second half, they picked it up. Roger with the brace, so he came in clutch for them. But another player I want to talk about is Mullen. I think he needs to start. He came on, made an impact, and even right now, as recording, he has 2 goals on Young Boys in the Europa League. He needs to start. Put Watkins on the bench. He has not been great this season. As for Wolves, against Crystal Palace, I do think that was one of their best games so far, which is saying something because they weren't all that great. I do think they were unlucky to concede those goals. One of them was a deflection. Munoz cleaned up, and then the other one was a banger. No other goalie would have blocked that, I think. I do think they need to improve in finishing their chances because they do have some. It's just they can't finish. Munetsi, oh my God, Munetsi. The amount of chances he gets that he has failed to put in the back of the net. But when these two teams face at Villa Park, it's actually kind of even on who picks up points. But Villa this season are pretty good at home. They have won 4 of their 6 games, whereas Wolves haven't won a game, and they've only scored 1 goal away from home. So I'm obviously going to go for Villa here. I'm going to go ahead and say that Villa win here 2-0. Next up, we have Forest versus Brighton. Forest, they went against Liverpool and beat them convincingly 3-0. They sat back, sucked up the pressure, and took advantage of those spaces Liverpool left wide open for them. All 3 of their goals came near that penalty area. I don't know why nobody was, in that space for Liverpool, but they took advantage and they beat them. As for Brighton, they were the better team against Brentford, ended up beating them. Could have been a draw, but they beat them. Menta being a menace, I think he's been having a great season. Nobody's really talking about him though. When these two teams face at the City ground, they usually split points. In the last 5, Forest have won 3, Brighton have won twice. Also, these teams, Forest at home, aren't that great. Brighton away from home aren't that great either. So it's 2 teams, once again, of not so great form at home and away. It's a pretty even matchup, but I think Forest are going to edge it here. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Forest. Next up, and the last game here, Game of the week, the most important game so far, Chelsea versus Arsenal. Second place versus first place. Chelsea last week went against Burnley, where they had some great blocks, kept Burnley at bay, ended up winning 2-0. Good wing play. I think their wing play has been their best tool this season because they're 10 and 9, so their striker and their, the 10 have not been connecting. They need some work. João Pedro, people are saying João Pedro having a good season. I don't see it. I think he needs work. Delap has not been great, or whoever they've had up there has not been great, but they did win here. They also beat Barcelona in the Champions League convincingly 3-0. Took advantage of that high line and used 3 pacey attackers, right, their wingers, and then put Neto up top. Very smart from Maresca. Easily beat them as well and got the red card, even easier for them. As for Arsenal, the league's over. They smoked Spurs 4-1. I thought it was going to be 2-1. 4-1. Eze with the hat trick. He's coming in through recently with his couple great performances here and there. I think this is the cherry on top. Great performance. Trossard again, very underrated. Like I was saying, Trossard very underrated. And then in the Champions League, they also beat Bayern, and it was a great performance from them. At the beginning, it was back and forth, but Arsenal always looked like the better team, and they ended up beating them 3-1. Now, when these two teams face at Stamford Bridge, Arsenal do have a good time. Last 5 games, Arsenal have won 3 and drawn the other 2. So they do pick up points here, which is scary for me. And also, Chelsea at home, they've only won half their games at home, which is not great. And then Arsenal away from home, I mean, wherever they go, they're pretty damn good, aren't they? But I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game here. Chelsea at home, keep low-scoring games. Arsenal away from home, keep low-scoring games. This is more of hoping here. But I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, but Arsenal can easily clean these guys up, honestly. I've lost faith. I think Arsenal is going to win everything. But yeah, those are my predictions for the Premier League Game Week 13. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and peace.